I'm Rupha Ramani and you're watching the Cup of Dreams here. And if you're just joining in, the news from Wankhede Stadium where India was taking on Sri Lanka is that India has registered a massive victory over Sri Lanka. It's one of the most convincing wins there, a dominating performance by India, beating Sri Lanka by more than 300 runs, close to 300 runs. It's a massive victory. And with that, they go through to the semi-finals. 14 points there. They're assured of a spot in the semi-finals. It's been a resounding win here at the World Cup. In fact, really culminating a series of not so good and horrifying performances by the Sri Lankan side. It hasn't been a tournament they would look back at all too fondly. This was another reminder of that Asia Cup final. We saw that one-off match where they crumbled to 50 all out, and you thought maybe it was those one-off moments. This isn't a Sri Lankan side that can really come down and fold so easily, but that's been a repeat right now. Wankhede has seen a repeat of that Asia Cup final where they really couldn't match up to the brilliance that India displayed at the Wankhede. If I had to just go over what the summation of that match looked like, India batting first really amassed and put on pressure on Sri Lanka. 357 for 8. That's a massive target to chase down at the Wankhede. Wankhede always really producing some quality performances, producing big scores. We've seen that in the matches preceding this one as well. Rohit Sharma got out for a very low score, but thereafter the middle order really stepped up. We always spoke about how the top order was coming and putting in those massive scores, those massive centuries, and the middle order wasn't really getting in those big scores, but it was the chance for the middle order to come up, and they really did not disappoint. Shubman Gill, we spoke about how he was one match shy from that beautiful performance, from a strong performance coming back from an illness, and he displayed that. 92. Unfortunate to have missed out on 100, but what a performance by Shubman Gill. He and Virat Kohli really steadying that innings after Rohit's early departure to really pile on the pressure and put on a huge total, helped in putting on a huge total. Shreyas Iyer also coming in with a good solid performance of 82. In fact, that was at a very, very faster clip, really sort of shifting gears from what we've seen him do in the past, especially in the World Cup itself. His role was very clear to be that steadying, rotating the strike player, but he shifted gears in this particular match against Sri Lanka. 82 of 56 deliveries at a strike rate of nearly 150. That really made the difference to make that total 250 plus to a 300 plus score. Suryakumar not really adding much, but again, Ravindra Jadeja coming in with a couple of big hits to aid that total along. The one spark probably that Sri Lanka would be happy about would be their bowler Dilshan Madhushanka. Fifer for him would have been a massive he would have been happy about it had the response in the second half been much to the same note. But nothing really went Sri Lanka's way right from the beginning in their response. You would presume that seeing the score of 55, quite a paltry score there by a team that's contesting at the World Cup. They've been champions before, and in fact, some of the best batters in the world has been produced by Sri Lanka. You talk about Jayasuriya, you talk about Sanat, you talk about Sangakkara, Jayawardene, Aravinda De Silva, Arjuna Ranatunga. All of these guys have been such beautiful exponents of the game, and really to see such a response by a Sri Lankan side at a World Cup ought to be disheartening. The only double figure there in the entire batting lineup, right up to number 6, came from Angelo Mathews, who wasn't really in the plans of their World Cup campaign in the first place. He flew in just a couple of matches earlier to be a part of the Sri Lankan side after Dasun Shanaka got injured and had to go back and miss the rest of the tournament. That was a big blow for the Sri Lankan team, who were skipperless for the longest part. Their main sort of leader in their ranks missing out. And that exactly is what showed today. And with that performance, the one bottom note, of course, being what a solid performance by a team that's now back on the top of the points table, leapfrogging South Africa, which is their next encounter on Sunday. That's what we're building up to. So just to sort of wrap this up, India beating, in fact, thrashing Sri Lanka by a huge margin to seal the place in the semi-final for the World Cup. And looking forward to that big face-off on Sunday. This is what sets it up very nicely. And with that loss, Sri Lanka has been knocked out of the World Cup. That does it here, but as always, keep following our coverage of the Cricket World Cup only at the Cup of Dreams right here at Firstpost.